So today we are talking about getting from here to there. And welcome to Biz Besties. I'm JoDee Kenney.
I'm Miranda VonFricken.
And this is going to be a very interesting topic. This is actually one of your speaking.
This is one of my keynotes.
Yeah, keynotes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it started as a keynote, speaking to a group full of women to help them get to that elusive there.
Yeah.
Wherever there means to you as an individual is completely different to somebody else, but we're all trying to get somewhere, right? So in order to break that down into there, we have to figure out how we got here, where we are today. So how did we get here? So I created this program called Getting There. We start with here, H-E-R-E. I break it into 4 different topics. H is our habits. E is the environment that we surround ourselves with. R is the relationships that we have. And the final E is our energy levels. So if we can take those very common denominators that we each as individuals have and figure out those spaces and how we got here today, we can also turn them into something way more positive to get to where we're going. And the there is like a bonus, the T, but we'll get to that later.
And so today we're going to talk about habits, and we're talking about our 3 biggest habits. And so my number 1 habit is planning out my day. And I find that if I preset myself for the day ahead, by spending about 10-15 minutes with myself in a notebook the night before, and I talk about what I'm going to do in the morning, what I want to do during the day, and what I want to do at the evening, and then I also have an ongoing list of to-do items. I have an opportunity to preset my day the night before, so when I wake up with intention and purpose, and so that's my number 1 takeaway for habits.
Yep. My first one is my faith and being connected to a higher purpose. So for me, my number 1 habit is prayer. I will include God in everything I do from the minute I wake up to the moment I go to bed. But if I can have that conversation with Him and say, this is what we're doing today. So it's part intentions, part visualization, but it's the conversation with somebody, and it's a somebody in my life that can help me get to where I'm going and make me feel centered and grounded no matter what crap comes my way. Yeah. I know together that prayer time, I know that that conversation I'm having in prayer is going to help me to stay focused and grounded, and I can kind of tackle anything.
My second one would be exercise and healthy eating. I have found that I'm not as successful if I'm not firing on all cylinders. And it took me some time, honestly, to kind of come to this. I've ebbed and flowed with the exercise and eating right, but I found myself last year at a real critical point in my life where I really almost felt like I was having a breakdown. I felt like a cat in a cage kind of thing. And I really started working out and prioritizing what I was eating. And I noticed that I was coming out of this fog and I was starting to dream big and not be afraid of what I was dreaming about. And so eating healthy and exercise really has become a daily important part of my life. And for example, I went out of town for a convention recently and it took a lot out of me. So I worked out one time when I was at the convention. The rest of the weekend I ate like I was some crazy kid in a candy store. And it was a gluttony. So I mean, my face was puffy. My body was not performing well. I was lethargic. And then the rest of the week, it took me a week to get myself back right. And I hadn't exercised. And so that kind of compounded into bad sleep. So exercise and healthy eating are really my number 2 most important habit to do. How about you?
So pretty much the same. So for me, although it's putting myself first is kind of the priority. And that's how I like to look at it versus let me exercise and let me, eat properly. It's about fueling the body I've been given. I only have one of them and I can't afford another one. So I'm not going to get another one. So I have to fuel this body and maintain it just as I would my car. My car can't get me to where I'm going if it's not working properly and if I don't give it the right fuel. Same with me and my engine. If I'm not fueling it properly, and I actually just started where you were a few months ago when you got really focused on it. That's where I am these days. So my top thing in the morning is to go to my gym and to get my butt handed to me.
You really do.
I do. Oh man, they kick my butt. They really do. But I also know that I have to fuel my body properly if I'm going to perform to where I need to or where they're pushing me to. And that's key for me. It's fueling it properly and moving it. So I end up having the energy that I need to take me through my day.
And I think it takes everybody their own time to get to that spot. So, don't feel that as if, you're not achieving if you're not where we are right now, because we both got here in our
I'm
own
still
time.
Mid-journey. I mean, let's be honest. If you had a chicken parm here, I'd be eating it.
Yeah. And you know what?
There.
Listen, even though I've made it to where I feel healthy and performing right, if you put a piece of cheesecake in front of me, I'm going to eat it. And then I might regret it, but I'm going to do it.
We're totally going for lunch after this, aren't we?
Probably. Okay, and number 3 for me is taking risks. And this only became safe and exciting for me when I implemented my number 1 and number 2 for my habits. So once I became programmed in putting myself out there every day with planning my day and making sure that I accomplish things, and then exercising and eating right, it made me feel good about myself, and I was willing to take more risks.
Nice.
Number 3 became taking the risks, and they're scary as heck, but I really feel like I can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about the risks that I'm taking. I'm really excited about where I'm going for 2020. And, even just get a little nervous saying that, because I feel like I can achieve anything as long as I put my mind to it and really put principles in order to achieve them.
My third one, and this one is kind of like a twofer, right? So I had a bad habit before of comparing myself to other people's success and seeing where I am today versus where they are. But we can't do that if we're going to get to where we need to be. So not comparing myself to others' success anymore, and also being authentic to who I am.
Yeah.
I think that became huge for me, and that came out of not comparing myself to others. When I saw somebody who was more successful or maybe a few steps ahead of me in coaching or speaking, I would try to emulate what they were doing so I could get there, but it wasn't true to who I am. So when I let this crazy out of the box, I started to get more successful in speaking and booking coaching and stuff like that. So I realized how important it is to just be who we are, and we're not for everybody. Some people love my crazy. Some people are just like, she's too much for me, and that's okay. But I'm going to continue to be exactly who I am to get to where I'm meant to be, not where somebody else was meant to be.
And I find that I have blinders on now.
Yeah, oh my gosh, and they're so nice.
Yes, you're not comparing yourself to anybody else when you have a lot going on in your own
It was
life.
exhausting, I'm not going to lie, and that's probably a lot of where my negative habits came from.
Me too.
Self-sabotage with the food and being lazy and all that stuff probably came from stressing that I was comparing myself to other people or I wasn't where they are. So having those blinders on, it's hard, I'm not going to lie, because I'm still, making sure that that's a complete habit for me, but it's freeing.
Yeah,
it
well,
really
that's what
is.
Biz Bestie is for.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
why I try to hold you accountable for things, and you hold me accountable as well.
Absolutely.
So those are our 3 habits, our top 3 habits. And next week, we're going to be talking about environment, which is really important. But we don't want to give everything away this time around. So we would love to hear from you if you have set up 3 habits. What are your top 3 habits that set you up for success and that puts you in the here and getting ready to go there? We would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave us 5 stars and, of course, a great review, and also share it with your bestie, because your bestie needs to hear all this positive knowledge that's coming out of us. And hopefully you are sharing what you're learning with them and growing together. And we also need to hear from you. So we would love to have some emails on your top 3 habits when it comes to here, your top 3 habits. So give us an email at thebizbesties@gmail.com, and we might read it on the air. And so we hope you decide to join us next time, because we are going to be talking about environment.
Absolutely. All things environment, super important, and it's not what you would think. So stay tuned.
Ooh, interesting. All right.